Let me tell you about my friends over at Citrus America and their amazing juicing equipment. They're revolutionizing the way you enjoy freshly squeezed juice. They're at the best hotels, restaurants, and markets. Their mission is simple. Develop a unique consumer experience with on-premise juicing, deliver healthy taste options to clientele, and juice more faster. It's that easy. Citrus America supplies the highest quality juicing equipment and solutions in the industry. So whether you're a small business owner or a large corporation, Citrus America has the right juicing equipment for you. Find out more at citrusamerica.com. Ooh. Hello, food fam. This is the Walk and Talk podcast, and I am your host, Carl Fiadini. We're podcasting on site at Ibis Images Studios, where food photography comes alive, and I get to eat it. On the menu today, and thank you, Peninsula Food Service, for supplying the proteins for today's Produzione. It's all about Southern-style chicken, kimchi, homemade pizza with con pork, and that, oh man, I gotta tell you, it's fantastic. I got to eat it already. I gained 6 pounds already. Our guest today is a new friend of the show. It's Cucina Del Sul. I've got Tarek Sultani. He's in Dubai. We met at the World Food Championships last month in Dallas, Texas. And, he and his wife, Ola, are awesome people, and they're doing big things in Dubai. This is going to be my excuse to get out there at some point. Jeff, I don't know, man. I mean, you would go, huh? You get on a plane?
Of course.
Like today? We'll go now?
Yeah, I mean, if I had my passport.
I mean, we'd be there for breakfast, I think.
Or next day.
Next day, whatever. Yeah.
It'd be Sunday by the time we get there.
Indeed. All right. So that's Mr. Chef Jeffrey Schlissel. Man, why don't you jump into pre-chef? Talk about, man, let me tell you something. Let me shut the music. I'm shutting the music. Hold on. Let me get that out of there. All right, listen. I enjoyed today so much because it was it was, I don't know, like it's simple, right? It's simple stuff, but it's not, because there's so many layers and you did so much with it to really elevate it. The pictures are phenomenal.
Yeah, as always.
As always. Go ahead, jump in, baby.
Yeah, so what I love about the can or con, K-A-N, is it's the best of both worlds. I mean, you get a little bit of bone in there. You've got the pork loin. You got a little bit of tenderloin, depending on where the cut's coming from. And it goes all the way down to the belly. So you've got like this just loveliness, and it curves. And one of the things you got to do is you got to like score the fat on the skin so that it won't curl on you or like kind of bend in the center so it cooks more evenly. A lot of people, what they do is they actually intend to take it and do it the cheating way and throw it into a deep fryer and get it all nice on the sides. You can smoke this, you can grill it, you can pan sear it like we did. But it's the seasoning you put into it, the love that you do with it. And we just did like a little bit of a rub. We had like garlic and a little bit of salt, pepper. Then you had a little cumin. I had adobo seasoning. And then layering those on and searing it. And then what really was the catch, and John's not right with it here right now, he's shooting. But I had the Noble Citrus tangerines came out. Mm-hmm. And these are actually last season's, the one that we use today. And having that marmalade, a little bit of vodka, a little bit of that thyme, and having that just glaze on top, it just brought it to another level.
It was like candy.
Yeah.
It was like candy.
Yeah, definitely. And then we served it with potato and artichoke hash with a little Dijon mustard, because that gives a little vinegar kick to a little spice, but not like heat from like pepper per se. And then I love turnip greens. You know, those are just an unspoken hero.
I mean, I ate my veggies today.
I know you did. I was very impressed.
My wife will be proud.
Yeah. And what I love about, turnip greens is it's a way for us to, normally those would be just thrown away. here's an opportunity to braise them. They don't take as long as collard greens. They're not as bitter as collard greens, but they're just fantastic. And I think they just blend well together. And then the other part we did, you mentioned the homemade pizza. I wanted to try something new. So I actually ended up fermenting my dough for over 24 hours to give it a little more body, a little more complexion or complexity. And what was funny is you guys were eating it, and I'm sitting there staring at the structure of the damn pizza dough, and you guys were like, "Oh, this is fantastic," and I'm just going off.
I was enjoying the structure as I was crunching through.
Yeah, that thing had a lot of crunch.
It had a lot of crunch, but it wasn't like I don't know. It was nice in the middle, crunchy outside, nice in the middle. It was so easy to eat.
Yeah, and that just spotlighting that pizza's the vessel, the dough is the vessel. Instead of doing marinara, mozzarella, or whatever, we did pureed, caramelized, balsamic jam, onion jam. And then we layered that with Mima sassy sauce, which is my sauce with the tangerine juice. And it's like an old-fashioned drink inside the actual barbecue sauce. Layered that with a little mozzarella, like Colby Jack cheese. And then the pork, the can, we actually chopped it up and then threw that on top and then caramelized it in the pizza oven. And then we put pickled jalapeños as the finishing touch in that. And then you wanted to do something different because last week with the kimchi, you wanted to spotlight chicken wings.
Yeah.
And funny enough, with the way we set it up on a plate, it looked like chicken wings, but they're boneless. And it's chicken tenders. And I did it with a 24-hour, I call it crack sauce because I made this sauce one time. It was just basically ranch dressing. I kicked it up with some black pepper, some Parmesan cheese, and some other ingredients. And literally, you just put that and dip it in. And I know, like my old roommate and a bunch of people that know, if you know, you know, they'll if you mention crack sauce, they'll be like, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. So you know how I get down, right?
Yes.
I want to slop up everything on the plate. So I took that delicious pizza that you created, and I took that crack sauce, and I just
smothered.
I was really, and the layers on the ranch, man, that cracks. It's got layers, and it's I don't know. Best way to describe it is it has life.
Yeah.
It's really, you take a bite and you're like, oh my God, it's alive.
Actually, what's funny is you took behind the scenes, we were doing it, and you took a bite of the pizza, and John goes, you moaned. He goes, I don't know how I feel about that. And that should have been on tape, by the way. That should not have been. No, I think he stopped filming.
No, it's there.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I didn't put that up yet. But
right. It's funny because like one of the things about cooking, the things that you love as a chef and people that are doing it for love, you have a lot of tendency to make things that are so much better. Because you're cooking with that passion. You're showing that love, the extension of you that you're trying to... And that's what we did with food. Food is this medium that can bring people together. And I think Anthony Bourdain did the best when he would travel is that he would sit around for crying out loud, he sat in Vietnam with President Obama, sitting president, having a beer in Vietnam and having food. And it brings people together. And that's one of the things that I love about food is that craveable and that passion, the love that you have for it. It's like, and Keith talks about being in India and people invite you into their house because that's what they want to do for you. They want to cook for you.
I want you to cook for me too.
That's why I'm here.
That's why we do this on Thursdays. Really. I started this whole company. So
and John can shoot.
Yeah. He could shoot.
He can really showcase his artwork.
All right. So people out there, the audience, these wonderful people, who somehow decide they want to listen to us. Right.
Yeah.
If you really want to experience all of this, you really need to go to the website, thewalkintalk.com, and check out all of John's photography. It's all beautiful food photography of the dishes that, Chef Jeffrey is actually cooking up. And you really get the full experience. Jeff puts out a column on there as well, blog, just about every week. And there's a lot on the site. So check it out. Thewalkintalk.com.
Speaking of that, if you really listen and you want to get involved, here's an opportunity for you actually to taste the food. There's a 9-course tasting menu January 13th at our buddy's farm called Cahaba Club. It's in Keystone, Florida. It's part of Hillsborough County, Tampa. It's equestrian, a lot of farms out there. And we're throwing it down. We listen, we're a food podcast, food media group. What better way for you guys to experience what we can do than to have an event? So, what Carl just said, he goes, thewalkintalk.com. You go down to the farmer's craveable dinner. You can buy tickets. There's wide open right now, but we've got 30 something people already booked coming.
Yeah.
So we only have an X amount of, spaces. So it's going to go fast. It's a great time for Christmas present. If you don't know, for your foodie, this is a perfect Christmas
Then
present.
if you act now, you also get, you just get out there and we feed you nice and you're going to be happy. How about that?
Yeah, and I will drop this. There is a menu out there, but that's not the complete menu. We're holding some of the stuff back to be a surprise. But as I was looking over the menu, what was really great is there's no theme to the menu, except that the theme is that we're helping farmers and getting the spotlight on farmers and showcasing what we can do with the farmers. And then you can actually then purchase from the farm directly. But this is what's really cool. The menu happens to be world. So every course is from a different part of the world. And I didn't even think about it when I was doing it.
There is a theme. The theme is smiles. Okay. Experience with smiles.
Yeah. What I was talking about with Joey Rowland today. Hey, Joey. I know you listen to us. But Joey was like talking about the experience that we've lost. And that's what we've done. Since COVID, we've lost that experience of going out and having that wow factor.
Yeah. Speaking of COVID and speaking of world and the food and everything in it. So I'm gonna bring in Tarek Sultani. He's over in Dubai. He's doing food competitions out there, and it's a pretty interesting story. And once he comes on, we're gonna have him talk about it. And I really want to get out there, and I really want to be part of what they're doing. And
I don't want to cook. I just want to watch.
Well, I just want to eat.
I know you do. I just when we had him on, I was sitting there envisioning what he was describing.
There's two things I want to do over there. I want to see the sail building there,
right.
and I want to eat, man. That's what I want to do. All right, so let's bring Tarek on.
I want to go see Tarek and his wife. That's what I want to do. I don't want to see a building.
What's 11? It's like it's 11:30 over there now. It's PM. Tarek, you with us?
I'm over here.
All
Good
right,
evening,
man.
guys.
Hey, welcome. How you doing?
Hello from Dubai.
Absolutely, man.
I'm great.
I appreciate you.
Listening to
I appreciate you staying up so late.
Describe that food. Oh, my pleasure. But I'm up and I'm hungry now. Listening to Chef Jeffrey's pizza and that crack sauce. Oh man, that sounds amazing.
It is, man. You gotta go make a sandwich. What can I say?
So tell us what's been going on since we saw you last. I mean, how was Dallas? Tell us from when we parted. And I think what day did you leave?
We left the day after the finals.
All right, so that's Sunday. You left Monday.
Announcement and then, yeah. But what an experience, honestly. I mean, this is our second year in the World Food Championship, and it just gets better and better. And that adrenaline rush and just kind of watching all that talent in one place is absolutely incredible. And what we love even more is it's truly becoming an international competition. I mean, there were teams from, obviously we had kind of 2 participants from Dubai, and then there was the teams from France and Korea and Japan, and just that whole kind of cultural mix.
Yeah, there was actually 2 teams from France, right?
Yeah, there were 2 teams.
Yeah, there were definitely 2 teams from France, and it seems like the burger.
2 teams from France, and then our buddy
Canada, the bacon, JP.
Yeah, JP.
Yeah, Canada. Yeah, there was. It seems like the burger category was the most world competition, if you know what I'm talking about. Well, that's not really true. The barbecue had some throwdowns too. Yeah, London, Afghanistan.
Everybody was barbecue. There was 21 or 18 or 21 competitors out there for that the live fire.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy, actually.
Yeah, that was cool. The live fire was really cool. Watching everyone had his own contraption and cooking in different techniques. It was incredible to watch. Just kind of walk around and taste all the food.
You able to taste the food? Well, wait a minute. I was stuck at the podcast booth. Carl probably tasted.
Look, I enjoyed myself from top to bottom during that event. I'm actually looking forward to next year. As it looks like we're going to probably, head back out there. It should be
Dallas.
Yeah, to Dallas. A lot of interesting things that are going to happen with the venue itself, with the franchise, and I'm excited to see where it's going to go.
Attention chefs and food buyers. Are you looking to improve your proteins program with quality and service by the best in the beef business? Reach out to Peninsula Food Service. With 25 butchers on staff, their services will dazzle you and impress your dining guests. Peninsula is the largest Creekstone farm distributor in the southeast United States. Let the gang at Peninsula Food Service cut your beef burdens away and ask about their dry-aged program. Look them up at peninsulafood.com.
So am I. I mean, can't believe. So what else? Now you were there. Where were they competing? Your people. Who were they competing? What categories?
Yeah. So we had two contestants. One was in live fire. So we had the smoking beards, Fred Casagrande, in live fire. He made it to the finals. Yep.
Yeah, he's a good guy, man.
Is that the guy you took the picture with?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's got
the cowboy hat.
He's got to have the buckle, the hat, the whole night, the beard.
The French guy with the cowboy hat.
You're friends with him?
Absolutely.
You need to tell him.
He was just with us last weekend. We did this incredible event out in the there's an area like 2 hours outside of Dubai called Al Ain, and we do an event called Meats and Mountains. So we do live fire cooking in this kind of beautiful backdrop of a mountain. And yeah, Fred was one of the stations, and he made this fantastic skirt steak with his Cajun rub. Oh man, so good.
Yeah, we didn't get a chance to get him on the show. And I told him, once everybody gets home and situated and whatnot, we'll reach out and have him on the program. Let him know that
he needs to take a nap before he goes on the show because it's going to be later.
Yeah, tell him to take a nap. But let him know that we're going to reach out, and I really want to have him on the program. I got to sample. One of Fred's best attributes is that he's a showman, right? So. Pooch and I were judges for the live fire event, and everybody was cool out there, but there was only like two teams that were progressive in the way that they spoke and communicated with the judges. And Fred, he's like I don't know if he had a culotte. I think he was doing culottes, if I remember. Or ribeye, I forgot, but he was cutting pieces for us. He's like, hey, try this, and he was putting the food in our mouths, man. Like we got to eat it. Oh my goodness, it was like I remember that I was happy as hell when you
eat meat. Yeah. I mean, anytime you get fed, you're happy. We all know that.
That's
true story.
Wow. Okay.
Who was the other person that was competing?
So we had another contestant from Dubai who basically participated in the sandwich competition, unfortunately, that didn't. The results for that didn't come out as we expected.
That was his first time, though, correct?
It was his first time, and it's intimidating, right? I mean, you look at all that talent, all these teams working around you, and
so
it was interesting.
I probably still have, I don't know, maybe another 10 episodes from the World Food Championship that I have to put out. Your episode, Ola's and yours, I just put out like 2 days ago. And in 1 day of publishing that episode, we started ranking on the Apple charts in Dubai. I think we were at number 15 on the Dubai Apple charts for food. I mean, that freaked me out. It's pretty. Thank you for being on our show, and I'm glad that our program made it to Dubai somehow. Man, that's really awesome. So thank you for that, Tarek.
That's fantastic. I think we should do more of that.
Well, you're right. Not only should we do more, production work like this together, but I think that we need to figure out how to combine our efforts in cooking food, and having some, camaraderie between the different countries and all of that. I mean, we spoke the last time actually on that podcast and privately about how, and just now with Jeff, food is the great mediator. It brings everybody together. And I think in this crazy world of ours, we need a lot more, reasons to befriend one another and to get together. And I think food is the way to do it.
I absolutely agree. I learned a new term last week with, from one of the chefs that was with us in our Meats and Mountains event. Because usually we have kind of a couple of chefs that are always with us, and we rotate a few. This gentleman was a chef from Argentina, and what he said after the event is we shared fire together, which nice. I found like a fantastic way of kind of really bonding, right, over food, over fire, over barbecue. So yeah, and Dubai is a cultural melting pot. And I think that's what's incredible about the cuisine here, is that you've got kind of everything from Middle Eastern food, but always with fusions of Asian touches, and then you've got chefs from all over the world, from Michelin star chefs to to street food concepts. Just bring all this cultural cuisine, different techniques, different ways of cooking, and lots of stories to tell. And that's part of what we've been trying to do over here, kind of bring people together over food. But I think the other part of it is also give the chefs and the cooks the platform to tell their story, express themselves through food, and really bring them closer to the people they feed.
The fact that that there's you'd mentioned before that hamburgers are a thing in Dubai. I think that speaks volumes of, the possibilities or the potential overall. I mean, the fact that a cheeseburger could be a big deal in Dubai, to me, is tremendous.
It's huge. It's huge. I think, honestly, like we've got some of the best burgers we've tasted anywhere. But let's tie it back to the World Food Championship. So last year, we participated in one category, which was the burger category. And the contestants, so the chef who won the Dubai competition came in third in Dallas. Comes back to Dubai. We did a series of pop-ups. Come try, Dubai's best burger and third best burger in the world. And a couple of months later, he opens up his burger joint. And he's got now one of the most successful burger joints in Dubai. You've got to stand in a 45-minute queue to get a seat.
I love that. You know what people need to understand, the audience? So at this World Food Championship, there's somewhere between 800 and 1,000 chef competitors, something to that effect, in the course of
two areas where there's multiple kitchens.
Right. So there's about 800, literally 800 competitors, and there are between 3,000 and 8,000, 10,000 people a day, spectators, that go through this venue, this event, over the course of like 5 days. So it's a big deal. It's not it isn't some rinky dink backyard competition here in, rural Alabama, something like that. Like this is nothing wrong with rural Alabama, by the way. Jason Lott, love you, baby. At the end of the day, this is a huge worldwide event.
Yeah. Remember we were talking about it. I said, this is not the Super Bowl where they say they're the world championship, because they're not playing anyone around the world.
Right.
They especially in certain categories, burger, definitely, my goodness, and barbecue. Multiple different countries that were being represented. So it is, if you win, like JP won for bacon.
Yeah.
You are the world champion in bacon. John McFadden, case in point, seafood. He is the world champion in seafood right now, until he goes to Nebraska and goes for the final table.
Arkansas?
Arkansas, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah,
it was Nebraska, Arkansas.
Yes, it's all of that. And by the way, we're talking with Chef John. Yeah, we're talking with him. Listen, Tarek, there's a bunch of stuff that we here at Walk and Talk want to do, and a lot of it revolves around
food,
obviously, but it revolves around other people with passion, this food passion like we have. And it doesn't necessarily, we don't want them to just be like here local from half an hour away here in Tampa, Florida. You know, we're looking for the, you know, the Australia and the Dubai and, you know, all of that. The globe, like a global food passion is what we're looking for. And I don't want to skip over the fact that, you know, what did he say? Shared fire together. Mm-hmm, that's powerful. And that's fire. Yeah, it's beautiful. That's beautiful. I mean, to me, that hits me. I appreciate that. Like, you know, all levels.
Well, I mean, think about it. With barbecue, what do you have? You got a lot of time on your hands, right, John? You got way too much time on your hand. And here in the States, we're sitting there drinking, you know, moonshine or bourbon. And what are you doing? You're just having a conversation. Same thing with what he's doing out and by the way, you guys are doing this where? Normally it's in the desert, correct?
Yeah, we do it in the desert. We do it in remote areas.
Yeah, so that's what's really you know, that's like man versus elements out there.
Right.
You know, that's why I said I don't want to cook. I just want to sit and watch.
Is there wildlife out there? What's the it's a desert. I get it. So what lives there? Anything? There's got to be stuff.
No, so we do two main locations. One is like proper desert. So we've got dunes, soft sand. We kind of shuttle people on 4x4s into the middle of the desert, and we do a beautiful camp setup. And the other one, which we did last week, is in a like an eco resort that has which is more kind of gravel and kind of rocky, like let's say more rocky landscape. But just like beautiful barren land. There's no green around you. It's just like really rough. And then you're lighting up the fires. One of the chefs kind of just did it Francis Mallmann style, like almost like the earth was on fire, and you had these massive ribeyes hanging over it, and cooking with just kind of very basic equipment.
Yeah, you just mentioned.
And we had people drive. 2 hours to come over, and then they sleep overnight. They camp and spend the night.
How many people show up to these events?
With around 450 people.
And that's a one night showing.
It's a one night showing. We did them like two weekends back to back. So like each like Saturday and then the next Saturday.
That's amazing.
Good
for you, man.
You mentioned ribeye. Like what for me, right? We have certain breeds of cattle here. What breeds of cattle do you have in Dubai that you use or harvest?
So all of it is imported. So, for example, like the event we did was in collaboration with U.S. Meat Export Federation. So it's all kind of USDA prime cuts.
We got to talk. I can just tell you, we have to talk. We got to talk. One of our biggest vendor partners and sponsors of the Walk and Talk podcast is a company called Peninsula Food Service, and we're the largest distributor of Creekstone Farm beef in the Southeast United States. And I got to tell you, obviously, when you're talking prime beef, and you're talking about just Black Angus, and you're talking about one bloodline, like it's amazing. And it's fun. Like, I wish I can put something in the mail right now for you, because it's, because what you're saying to me, we're speaking the same language here. The dunes, the sand, I would check that out. But the other thing you're talking about, where it's like kind of gravel and, I guess mountainous, I would totally be down for that. 100%. Like,
you'd have to climb stuff. Are you ready?
I can climb.
Okay.
You
breathe heavy going upstairs.
I know. I have to prepare for this.
He's actually laughing.
Yeah, you made John smile. That's really nice. It's the first time ever. I got to take a picture. Here's my phone. I would have to prepare for this.
No, you would definitely have to train.
I would have to train. It's something where I can't see you for at least a month. Like, you're out of my life for a month.
You see what he just said about training? He said 1, 2.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Lift a spoon. I got you. Okay. John,
he's still silent.
E tu brutai. Really?
So let me ask you a question, as somebody who loves cuisine in different countries and stuff, what would be like indigenous foods for Dubai if we were to go over? Where would you take us?
Ooh.
Yeah, there we go.
Yes. So there's definitely a couple of places that are. I mean, I wouldn't describe them as local cuisine. So like it's not Emirati cuisine, but that's one thing you have to try, which is kind of local cuisine, which is usually lamb over a big bed of rice. So the lamb is cooked in what we call matfoon. Matfoon is when they dig underground and they like put a barrel under the ground and put the lamb inside, and then just let it cook for 8 hours. So they cover it with sand, cover the barrel with sand, and then
what do you call it? The Cuban. The coffin. We call it coffin.
That's got to be that lamb has to be so tender.
No, I can't think of the name.
Fall off the bone.
Fall off the bone, right?
Absolutely fall off the bone. Absolutely.
Oh, man.
But that's indigenous way of cooking, though, back from the day. I mean, listen. A lot of times that people, and I remember a friend of mine who's from Pakistan, Manny. He's like, well, the doner, the gyro comes from this. I'm like, actually, it comes from the Bedouins because that's the way they cooked, and it's similar to what you were just saying, the barrel inside and digging it so that it uses mostly almost like a Dutch oven, correct?
Yes. Yep.
So
the Dutch oven using kind of what you have around you, which is just really the terrain, right? Kind of the sandy terrain. So you just dig underground and put the meat in there and just let it cook.
See, that's what I would want. I wouldn't want a hamburger. I don't want a hamburger.
But no, you would want a hamburger. Definitely.
Yeah, but my second day, the first day, I would want something that's more indigenous.
Yeah, listen, exactly. I would like to have an indigenous
and I would take you to
hamburger.
An indigenous hamburger. So they have. I think there's one place that I have not tried, and I'm not sure I want to try, but I'm sure they make a camel burger.
I've had that.
I'll try that.
I've actually had that here in Orlando. Yeah. Actually, Orlando, Florida. There's a place called Whiskey, and they have different. Well, funny joke. So the camel burger comes out. I had no idea how to, cook. And so, like sometimes when you're doing cow or duck, you want it mid-rare or whatever your temp is. I don't know how to cook what temp to serve camel. So I asked the server and she goes, this is the way. So it comes out, I take the bite and I look over and everybody's looking at me. I'm like, oh my God. They're like, what? I'm like, it's got sand in it. They're like, really? I'm like, no, you idiots. I'm like, it's fantastic. There's a little bit of gaminess to it. Like mutton to like lamb. That's the difference when the younger lamb doesn't have that gaminess to it, but as it gets older, the mutton has that little more gaminess to it. But it's only a hint. But I would definitely go back to that place and have camel. I thought it was fantastic. Other guys had ostrich and boar, venison, that to me is not nothing big.
Ostrich is pretty good.
It tastes like dark meat chicken.
I mean, I remember I got an ostrich that was like a steak fillet. It was huge. It was gigantic. Huge. So what's coming up next? Did I miss that? Tarek, what do you got coming up next?
What's coming up next is we are working on first of all, for the World Food Championship, that's going to be a key priority. So I think just reflecting on our experience this year, one of my takeaways is that we need teams. That's what just watching, kind of a lot of these contestants come in, the way they operate, the way they work together is incredible. And I think that's what we kind of need to build out of Dubai. You look at the French team, right? The guys who won 100%. The burger competition, right? They had they had Michelin star chefs as mentors. So I think for me, that was a big learning. And so that's kind of one thing. The other thing is we've been looking at the World Food Championship, like from our side, as in like the Dubai, kind of coming in from Dubai. What we're trying to do now is actually expand that lens and really make it like World Food Championship MENA. So try to bring in teams from all over Middle East and North Africa, where we've got fantastic talent and different cuisines. So actually kind of have a team from Dubai, a team from Saudi, a team from Morocco, and kind of use our competition as the jumping off point to go compete in Dallas.
Would you also do training like what they had in those kitchens, set up similar? Because that's
that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah. Because just so everybody knows, absolutely. It's not a commercial kitchen. There's no gas that was there. It was all electric, like your in-home type of stuff that was there. And they only had a certain amount of things that they can use. And they literally had to go out to, like, when your two competitors competed, they had to go to a local market to pick up the produce and the proteins, correct?
Man, I mean, that's probably one of the most difficult things for all the international contestants is as they arrive to Dallas, sourcing kind of the right cuts of meat, sourcing equipment, ingredients. So we make sure our guys arrive 4 or 5 days. Now that it's our second year there, we know a couple of places, a couple of butcher shops that can help us. But yeah, I mean, like for example, the guy who competed in the sandwich category, when he did his cook in Dubai, it was actually it was smoked. So he cooked his kind of brisket for 8 hours. Going into sandwich in Dallas, he had to figure out how he's going to kind of change the meat and shift and cook with the equipment that's available over there. So there's a lot of kind of adaptation that needs to happen as you get there.
Yeah, definitely. You got to be MacGyver, definitely, because you don't know.
Yeah.
And the more you do, I think Team France was there, a week before? I think 2 weeks before, I heard, for some reason.
It was something like that, yeah. I mean, I think it's smart. I mean, if I know, if it's me, and I know that I'm going to be doing a competition in May, right, next year, let's just say, starting today, I'm on the internet, and I'm looking street by street, market by market. I'm calling those people, those businesses. I'm letting them know, hey, I'm going to be there in X amount of months. And this is what my expectations are. And I would have all that stuff set up like way ahead of time, because then when I land, everything is, plug and play.
Well, I mean, the good thing for Tarek is that he's got people here in the States that we can actually help now facilitate some of that stuff moving forward for him.
Yeah.
Because that's one of the best things to have is somebody that has the knowledge of what that area might have. That's something else there too.
Yeah. I feel like there's going to be, I feel like there are a lot of synergies between what Ola and Tarek are doing and what we're doing. And obviously having this, World Food Championship kind of, in the background, as we kind of work around it, I feel like there's a lot we can do together.
I agree.
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, I mean, just kind of reflecting back on the podcast we did together while in the World Food Championship, it was such a great experience and a great opportunity for us to tell our story. I think there's a lot of stories that we can bring to the surface here from chefs in Dubai that have traveled from different places all over the world and want to bring people together over food.
Well, we have all new friends here. So I embrace that. I know Jeffrey does, and at some point you'll get to meet our
or hear
our executive producer John.
Silent John.
Here. Yeah, Silent John.
What I love about the idea, what you're trying to do is you're actually showcasing the melting pot of the Middle East. And I really don't think that there's one. I mean, yeah, you could say like Philly has the Philly cheesesteak, and we've talked about this. New York has the New York style pizza, and so on and so forth. But I think when you see these cuisines jumping borders, and then you see these chefs that are doing infusions, I think it brings it to another whole nother level of what cuisine can do, not only for the cuisine of that country, but the actual friendships that can develop. And this is the point right now that we're talking about.
Yep, absolutely. And I think also when you bring these different cultures together, you realize how through their cooking, their ways of cooking and the food they serve, how much commonality there is.
Yeah,
right?
I mean
the different names and different kind of maybe like all come back from old traditions, but it all is very similar.
Yeah, there's only one cuisine that was invented in the 1990s, which was el bulli, which is the modern cuisine. You mentioned somebody's name, Francis Mallmann, and I think he's just one of the culinary gods. I mean, this guy cooks 7 different ways on fire only. He's got 30 different restaurants around the country, actually around the world, and he doesn't use gas. All wood.
How big are the restaurants?
They're good sizes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, when
impressive.
Yeah. When Tarek said somebody did it in the Francis Mallmann, he's got this pyramid thing. You want to describe it? What your chef did that was sort of like what the earth was on fire? How'd it look?
Yeah. I mean, basically he lit up his wood and charcoal and laid it on the ground. On top of that, there was a cage. And on the cage, he had different vegetables. And then he had another kind of pit next to that with just hanging the big hanging the ribeyes. And then there was a third pit, like, because I was just trying to squeeze in and take these videos, and you feel like you're in a volcano. It's absolutely incredible.
They didn't do that at this event at the World Food Championship, did they?
No one did that.
No, somebody did.
Well,
they did that. No,
not what he's talking about. Like on the ground, like when Francis Mallmann, he builds an igloo, and you can walk through this thing.
Yeah, that's
different times.
But there was one or even two. The competitors on that live fire had the big cage and the hanging veg and
the girl that won the
right
Women on Fire, whatever it was called. She had the hanging as well, and the Santa Maria is what you're talking about, like when they pulled up and the different things and hanging both down and going up and down.
Yeah. It was impressive. I can tell you that.
Yeah, but what Tarek is saying is this is like literally on the ground. There's no metal. There's nothing.
It's more basic. No contraptions. Exactly. No contraptions. No big equipment. No smokers. It's just earth and charcoal and
it's
very raw.
It's the primal, exactly, raw. It's primal. So you've got infrared, you have radiant heat. So you're playing around with, like, you're at that point, you're not cooking, you're a food scientist because you're almost like baking, because you have to know where the heat's coming from. And if the wind changes, you've got to pivot. There's so many things that you're dealing with an offset smoker. And
what the good news about that scenario is?
You didn't have to cook.
Well, that there's always that. But the fact is, if you're outside and you're charring meat, like you're cooking meat like that, it's always going to taste good. There's nothing you're going to do to mess that up. Like hardly anything.
How did the chef season it, by the way? Was he just like the water, salt, and pepper with the little rosemary, or what was he doing?
Yeah, it was very, very, it was basically salt and pepper. He had chimichurri next to it and served this with vegetables.
Yeah, you're saying all the right stuff. I'm going to book my flight.
He was Argentinian. Of course, he had chimichurri.
Yeah, well, naturally, yeah. Well, I'm going to book the flight, and I'm going to get out there, and I'm coming.
We need to get you out here. Absolutely.
Yeah, true story. All right, so
to answer your question as well about where I would take you, there are a couple of restaurants which honestly I take most of my guests to because they are must-haves in Dubai. One is Urfali, which is probably ranked number one in kind of best top restaurants in the Middle East. He does this incredible mix of Levantine cuisine, so it's kind of Turkish, Lebanese, Syrian, just incredible flavors, so much umami in all the dishes, and a lot of storytelling as well. So each dish is inspired by one of his trips or his memories of living in Syria. Fantastic. The other place is definitely Reef Kushiyaki, Asian street food, just top-notch, high quality kushiyakis and ramens. And the third one is a ceviche place. Startup, an incredible chef, Peruvian chef, who used to do kind of more catering and private dining, and opened up a very small place in Dubai, and it has become very popular. Just like really, really nice ceviches.
So
those are my. My 3 hit list.
How do those chefs, maybe you don't know the answer to this, maybe you do, how do they, like, especially the Peruvian chef, obviously being in Dubai, Peru being in South America, obviously does Dubai have the ability to, I mean, we can import it, but nobody's growing concha corn or amarillo peppers, or so is he importing them, or does he change to what, or she, does she change, or are they changing for what's there and grown in Dubai?
No, a lot of it is imported, and obviously, especially when you want to keep the food authentic to its source of origin. However, there's definitely a big trend of not a trend, but really a kind of very intentional direction to support more local farms and local produce. So there's been investments in lots of kind of farmland, like converting a lot of desert land into proper farmland, and producing different types of vegetables, local vegetables, both organic and just other vegetables, and to support sustainability. A lot of the restaurants have been using as much as possible local produce. But at the end of the day, Dubai is a global hub for trade and commerce. So a lot of food comes from all over the world.
How many people are in Dubai? What's the population?
I think it's around 2 million.
Okay.
That's Dubai as the city. Remember, I mean, we're part of the country is the United Arab Emirates.
Right.
And Abu Dhabi is the capital.
Right.
And there's a lot of things happening in Abu Dhabi. So I think last month, Michelin launched their Abu Dhabi rankings for the first time. And then the guys from and then they did the Taste of Abu Dhabi as well, and that was very popular. So again, a lot of culinary experiences, just becoming popular and bringing people together.
Well, we're here for it. I think what we're going to do, Tarek, is we're going to go ahead and let's stay in contact here over the next, very soon, and let's try to work some dates out and figure out what we can get started. I definitely want to do something with you on the podcast. Do me a favor. Make sure I know Ola. It's probably midnight over there, and it's getting late. So be sure you send Ola our regards. And I just want to thank you very much for being on the show. Can you tell everybody how to find you? What's your Instagram handle?
Yes, Instagram is Cucina Del Sul, Cucina Del Sul, SUL.
Perfect.
And you can see the you'll have a look at the reels, the Meat and Mountains event.
Perfect. Listen, we're coming up on the hard break.
And Pearl, I'll set up the call as well with Fred. Get him on the podcast.
Yes, I'm loving it. All right, listen, thank you very much, Tarek, for being on the program. We appreciate you kindly.
Thank you for having me.
Jeff, love you, baby. Johnny, we are out.